It's undisputed. It's the best question that we have on today's show. This one from Julia, who said, can you do an official ranking of Mets' best to worst seasons after being Santa at the Christmas party? I want to see the validity of the curse. So for those that are not aware, and Joe, I'll buy you some time here to pull up as many Mets Santas, and we have full disclosure, Joe and I have done some research on this because you have to. The Mets have a long history of different players being Santa Claus and tragedy striking their MLB season for the most part. But if you don't know, there is a bit of a something swirling that if you are Santa for the Mets, bad things could happen. We're going to dive into who's excelled after being Santa, who's gotten hurt, who's had bad seasons, some things even beyond that. So, Joe, I don't know if we're going to be able to fully stack it up, but let's start with the positive. Who are the only Mets that have actually had productive, successful seasons after being Santa?
The captain, David Wright, and Daniel Murphy are clearly impervious to the Santa curse because they both were Santa multiple times and were perfectly fine the season after. So David Wright, Daniel Murphy, they all checked out. When you get away from them, we could get into the negative now. There's injuries, there's trades, there's lifetime suspensions from baseball. Like
that's the craziest one.
I want to say there's no question that number one in the power rankings is Henry Mejia, who was in 2014, he was Santa, and he not long after that got his suspension. That is why Henry Mejia is no longer in baseball.
Yeah, that's definitely the number one worst Santa season of all time. There are some crazy, a couple of trades too. Jeff Francoeur was Santa in 2009. He obviously had a really brutal start to the season and was traded. R.A. Dickey in 2012 was Santa. He was traded. Steven Matz in 2015 got hurt. Noah Syndergaard in 2016 got hurt. Brandon Nimmo was Santa 2017, 2018, 2019. He played only 69 games in both 17 and 19. Kind of odd. Played only 69 games in both of those seasons. He did survive it in 2018, where he arguably had one of his best seasons of his career. He played 140 games that year. He had an 886 OPS. He hit a career high 17 home runs that year. He stole a career high 9 stolen bases, 404 career high on base percentage. So Nimmo had the bookends of the curse, but in the middle, he actually had a career year. So it's a really, really weird thing. But I would say it's almost 70 to 80% drastically bad seasons, injury or performance related.
And you even go back to 2005, Chris Benson was traded, and you had the whole deal with his wife, Anna Benson, at that time, which we don't need to get into on this show. Just Google it. You could get to the bottom of it yourself. 2004, Mike Cameron, Mets signed him to a multi-year deal the year before to be the center fielder, and he was coming off Gold Glove after Gold Glove with Seattle. The Mets signed Carlos Beltran. Mike Cameron plays Santa, and Cameron moves over to right field, and him and Beltran bump heads, and he gets concussed. Brutal. Yeah, that was one of the worst injuries that I've seen. And, Mike Pelfrey is someone that struggled. But, yeah, I think this is a fun question. And I think there's no question, top of the list, worst is Henry Mejia. And then I guess what is worse, like getting concussed or being really, really bad. So I would say Mike Cameron's up there. Syndergaard in 2016, coming off just, really strong performance, and he gets the lat injury after being Santa. So the Santa curse seems to be real. I don't think they've had a holiday party in a couple of years. I don't know if it's coming back, but if it comes back, maybe don't put a Mets player in the Santa outfit.